Up next on Connections, counting down to a new Brown, the latest information on the renovation of the more than century-old transportation line. That plus the profile of a CTA customer who used to pay the equivalent of $14 a day for transit in his native country. And marking the arrival of Earth Day 2007, we'll explain how taking the CTA is one way to go green. Getting you where you need to go with service that's on time, clean, safe, and friendly. Welcome to Connections. The CTA, delivering quality, affordable transit that links people, jobs, and communities. I'm Jean Sparrow. Welcome to Connections. The countdown to a new Brown continues, and there's so much to tell you about. We'll tell you what station just reopened, which one just closed, and the start of 3-track operation and what that means for your commute. So let's get started. Come on in. The Francisco station on the Brown line is now open.
It's fantastic. I like the new look of it. It's nice.
Oh, I think it's a great thing that it's open.
It's pretty exciting. I'm glad that it's reopened now.
The station reopened March 9th, nearly a week ahead of schedule. It had been closed for 6 months for a much-needed renovation and installation of a ramp and wheelchair-accessible turnstile, which means everyone can now access the station. And though the finishing touches are still being added, the major construction work is done.
I like that it looks like so new and like modern, and it's easier to get to because of the ramp and stuff, so it's a good station.
It's definitely worth it, and I tell you, it really makes you happy when you go past a station and you say, gosh, you know, this is the finished product here, and because you've seen that station when that station started, and we're talking about the Brown Line being constructed in the late 1800s, early 1900s, so you're talking about areas that are over 100 years old.
Francisco is the 4th newly renovated station to reopen as part of the Brown Line Capacity Expansion Project. The others are Kimball, Kedzie, and Rockwell.
Over here you have a ramp. Other stations may include elevators. You've got enhanced lighting. You've also got cameras in the stations.
And at Francisco, you also have a melding of the old and the new. The historic station house was taken apart piece by piece. It was then carefully reassembled and painted the same pewter color the building had when it was built in 1907. The canopy is the original one too, with a few modern features added, such as heating lamps and brighter lighting.
I like the little seat stumps.
Call them what you will. They're cute and comfortable, and add a touch of whimsy to the traditional seating on the platform. And on the subject of the platform, the Francisco platform was expanded to accommodate longer trains, and therefore more passengers once the entire project is completed. Since 1979, ridership on the Brown Line has increased significantly.
Because of the enormous growth that's taken place in the area, we need to go from a 6-car train operation to an 8-car train operation.
And that requires the renovation of other stations along the Brown Line. The latest to close? Southport.
It closed on April 2nd, so when the station is closed, we'd like people to take the 2 adjacent stations, Paulina or Belmont. There's also local bus routes in the area that people could take as an alternate.
Those bus routes are the number 9 Ashland, 22 Clark, 77 Belmont, 152 Addison, X9 Ashland Express, and the number 11 Lincoln Sedgwick. You know, a lot of companies send you to their websites for more information, but the CTA website is remarkable in the amount of information that it has on there. In fact, there's a special website dedicated to updating you on the progress of the Brown Line. It's called www.ctabrownline.com. Here you can find everything you need to know about the project schedule, temporary station closures, and alternate service. Alternate service is especially important with the start of 3-track. Phase 1 of 3-track involves 2 stations on the Brown Line, Fullerton and Belmont.
Phase 1 involves Track 4, which is the newly constructed Track 4, being able to accommodate Purple Line Express, Brown Line trains, as well as the Red Line trains. Phase 1 also will involve the old Track 4 taken out of service, as well as Track 3 taken out of service. That's at the Fullerton station. Belmont station will involve Track 4, the old Track 4 being taken out of service while the new Track 4 is being completed.
With one less track in operation, there are service reductions during morning and evening rush periods. And that's why the CTA is advising customers on the Brown, Red, and Purple Express lines to leave early, leave late, alternate. And the folks at Metra are offering alternative travel options for customers who ride the Red, Brown, and Purple Express L lines. Among CTA's service recommendations for customers during 3-track operation, Metra's commuter rail service is one great option that will keep customers on track. That's the sound of another public transit option, Metra. Metra is adding extra trains and stops along its Union Pacific North Line. The added trains will be able to accommodate up to 1,000 CTA customers each day who may want to try another route during 3-track operation on the north side.
They're adding 6 new trains. Some of the trains will be stopping right here at the Ravenswood station, which will be a great added benefit for people that reside in this area, and the customers will be able to use this as an additional option.
In addition to stops at Ravenswood, the trains will stop at Clybourne and Rogers Park in Chicago, and at Main Street, Davis Street, and Central Street in Evanston.
Primarily, these extra trains have been added to accommodate rush hour passengers. During the day, we'll keep pretty much the same schedule that we have, which includes all stop local trains, but the rush hour passengers will definitely be accommodated.
The UP North Line runs between Kenosha, Wisconsin, and the Ogilvie Transportation Center in Chicago. It parallels the CTA's Brown and Purple lines and then crosses the Brown line in Roscoe Village.
The Metra trains that are being added are in close proximity to the Brown Line trains. Where we're standing now, we're about 2 blocks away from the Brown Line trains that are over at Damon. We're at Ravenswood, and so it's very convenient for customers.
The Chicagoland region's transit system was designed for interconnectivity. CTA and Metra even share some stations.
Some of the simplest rail connections, Metra to CTA, would be at places like Jefferson Park, Harlem on the Green Line in Oak Park, Davis Street, Main Street in Evanston. In those locations, we have stations that are essentially adjacent to one another, again providing the complementary service that makes the whole system work very effectively.
There are many Metra stops where you'll find CTA bus routes nearby. Metra and CTA have different fare systems, but Metra customers can purchase a link-up pass for easy transfer between CTA and Metra during the busiest travel periods, morning and evening rush.
If you buy a monthly pass, say you're in the Ravenswood, Rogers Park area, it's approximately $58 for your monthly pass. In addition to that, you can purchase a link-up sticker, which would go affixed to that pass, and that's $36. This is a monthly ticket, and then this sticker on here says April Metra CTA Pace link-up sticker, and that's the sticker that you would have on there that you would just show to your bus driver or operator, and that would be your trip on the CTA to complement your Metra monthly pass.
The link-up pass is sold only by Metra, and that's a key fact in this. It's valid only on Pace and on CTA. However, it's sold only by Metra.
Included with the link-up fee is a separate card for customers who transfer between Metra and L trains.
It's a good deal, and it's unlimited. So, you can have a variety in your schedule, not have to have the exact same routine every day, and still be able to use public transportation.
So if you do decide to take a 3-track alternative route, don't think of it as an inconvenience. Think of it as an opportunity.
We look at this as an opportunity for different customers to use different kinds of options. Some customers will be able to switch to express buses, other customers will be able to switch and start earlier, start later, and some will choose Metra as another option. So we look at it as a package of options that customers will have in place.
For more information on Metra and its fare scale, go to www.metrarail.com. Still to come, a CTA customer who used to pay the equivalent of $14 a day for transit in his native country.
Do you have a fun place that you go to that you always take the CTA?
Yes, when I come to the Loop, I bring my daughter down. She likes the Brown Line. She loves to ride around and see the old town experience and all the flags and merchandise mart and the river that looks very weathered, I'll say that.
Navy Pier.
Okay, what do you like about Navy Pier?
Everything. It's exciting.
Midway Airport and the racetrack.
Alrighty then.
And it's well worth going that way because I can take the bus out to the airport and then take it to the racetrack there, so it's a fun day.
The art museum.
Why is that?
Because I'm interested in art.
Navy Pier.
Okay.
Be a Ferris wheel, you know what I'm saying? All the amusements and stuff around there and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun.
Okay.
During the summertime especially.
All right.
You can see now the weather's about to break.
Yeah.
So we're about to have a lot of fun. A little taste of Chicago.
Combining technology and teamwork while delivering dependable, affordable transit. I'm Jean Sparrow. Welcome to Connections.
The CTA is one of the best ways to get to, from, and all around the city.
But don't just take my word for it. Ask people who've made the CTA a part of their daily lives. People like Duncan Clements. Out the door, around the corner, up the stairs, on the train. The daily commute couldn't be any easier for Duncan Clements.
There's no stress or hassle for me at all.
No stress or hassle, or traffic headaches. Duncan arrives at his job relaxed and ready to help others relax and enjoy their stay at the Hotel Monaco.
I'm the assistant to the general manager, so it's my primary role is to overlook the operation and to make sure that everything runs smoothly, that I support the managers who are here.
From his home to the hotel, it's about 20 minutes using the Green Line. That gives Duncan time to read the paper, plan his day, and put himself into a positive frame of mind.
Yes, you've got to be very positive all the time, that's right.
An inbound train toward the Loop will be arriving shortly.
When I leave the house, I can catch a bus within 5 minutes, or I can be at the CTA station like within 6-7 minutes, and I have no hassles at all there. Another thing as well is I'm outside breathing the air in, and it's getting me my adrenaline pumping, and it's getting me acclimatized for the day.
Duncan is originally from London, but he has lived and worked around the world. He's been in Chicago for almost a year and still gets a kick out of the elevated trains here.
I think the CTA is a great system. I think it's very easy to use. It's quite interesting the way that it was built up instead of down. It's kind of fun. Well, it's quite an interesting journey as it snakes through the buildings, and you're sort of like that close to the building as you're coming round it.
And the price is right too, especially when compared to transit systems in other big cities.
The London Underground, the tube now, is getting quite expensive. It's probably about $14 US. Chicago is a lot more reasonable.
He purchased his home because he loved the feel of the neighborhood and its proximity to mass transit.
King Drive is excellent. It has fast buses that go up and down straight through McCormick Place onto Michigan, and the CTA is accessible on 35th, on Indiana, and at 43rd where I get on 47th, right the way down to Hyde Park. So it's a great area for me.
Duncan does own a car, but he hardly ever uses it, even though he gets free parking at the hotel.
I might drive it on the weekend if I've got to go to, say, Home Depot, or I've got to go to the grocery store. But during the week, no, it doesn't. It doesn't leave the garage. You were with me this morning, you know, why would you drive?
Why indeed? And that's a message Duncan shares with customers at the hotel.
My flight's at like 8:30 and I'm going to get there around 6, which I thought should be plenty of time.
Really, really popular question, which we get in terms of verbally and also via email is, I'm at the airport, what are my options to getting into Chicago? And that's always our most popular answer is that you catch the orange line if you're coming from Midway, you catch the blue line if you're coming from O'Hare.
Duncan places a premium on customer service. That's important in his line of work, and our line too, whether it's the green line or any other line that takes people like Duncan to and from work every day.
It's clean, it's safe, it's regular, you know, it's affordable, so it's great.
Duncan has about a 15-mile round-trip commute daily. That's about 75 miles a week, 300 miles a month. And with the price of gas these days, the savings really add up. As for what he saves in time and aggravation, well, you really can't put a price on that. Our next story is about a woman who's known as a pioneer. Not the kind that drove a covered wagon, the kind that drove a multi-ton city bus. Her name is Mary Wallace, the CTA's first female bus operator.
That was me, CTA's first lady.
The CTA's first female bus driver marks a milestone, her retirement from the CTA. Mary Wallace's grandson is growing up in a time when women work in all professions. That wasn't the case in the early 70s when Mary applied to become a CTA bus operator.
Right away they said, oh, we don't hire women for that position. You know, we have women in other positions, but not that. You know, we don't have any facilities.
The wall in Mary's family room tells the rest of the story. The story of how she broke down the walls of chauvinism to become the CTA's first female bus operator.
My first day, it was a lot of fanfare, a lot of cameras, a lot of people, just a lot of everything. It was like a parade because somehow they knew that Mary Wallace was driving the State Street bus that day, and it was my first route. And it was like a parade all the way down State Street. People were standing on the corners, the women were waving, the guys were like, what is she doing driving this bus?
Mary worked as a supervisor for the last 15 years of her career. She's proud of her contributions to the CTA and women's rights.
I just wanted to be number one, and I was.
You won't find Mary Wallace relaxing during her retirement. She hopes to open and oversee a children's recreation center in Chicago's Lawndale community.
Still to come, does the Ryan have you crying? Check out your options on the CTA.
On an average weekday, the CTA provides 1.5 million rides, getting people where they need to go around Chicago and 40 surrounding suburbs. If you want to hop aboard, here's how to get all the information you need. Online, go to www.transitchicago.com. There you can access bus and train schedules, system maps and brochures, and service updates. You can even use the trip planner. Enter where you want to start, where you want to go, and what time you plan to travel. The trip planner suggests the best route to take. Another option, make the connection by phone. Call 836-7000 from any local area code.
The word connection, a link or a spark that brings people together. I'm Jean Sparrow. Welcome to Connections.
Rush hour traffic on the Dan Ryan is usually stop and go. But with this construction, it's going to be more stop than go. There is an easy and effective solution to the problem, however. Give your car the ditch and make the switch to the CTA.
Do not enter. That's good advice during Phase 2 of the Dan Ryan construction project. People who are still trying the Ryan risk burning out faster than their brake lights. Of course, the truck drivers caught on the Ryan don't have an option, but the car drivers do. It's called the CTA, and its trains travel right through the toughest traffic jams, and buses provide convenient service and eliminate the stress of driving.
For one, our trains move unimpeded by vehicular traffic, so regardless of what's going on the road, you certainly are going to get from 95th to the Loop area unimpeded by that vehicular traffic.
The green and orange lines serve the areas near the Dan Ryan, as well as the red line, which operates right down the middle of the expressway. Several stations on the red line underwent major upgrades during a recent rehab project. 2 are newly accessible to customers with disabilities. Upgrades to the red line's power system supplies more juice to the third rail, so the line is even faster and more efficient than before.
It's better, it's quicker, safer, and smoother.
And ready to take on new customers who don't want to hassle with an expressway under construction. CTA buses drop off and pick up customers at each of the train stations. There are dozens of bus routes that connect to the red, orange, and green lines. And there are dozens of bus routes operating on the north-south arterial streets. There are routes along Ashland, Stony Island, King Drive, and Cottage Grove, to name a few.
We try to use as many articulated buses as we can because, of course, it holds more capacity. We've made so many enhancements with the infrastructure. We've increased the frequencies. It's a good way to travel downtown.
And it's a good way to relax and take in the sights of the city, especially along the Lakeshore Drive routes.
This is the hub to go on to Lakeshore Express, Lakeshore Drive to express you downtown to Balboa, Michigan, north on to either. Some of the buses will take you to Ogilvie Transit Center or to Navy Pier.
So there's this expressway, or there's the CTA's Express Way. Give our way a try.
We're ready. CTA is up and ready.
If all goes accordingly, the Illinois Department of Transportation hopes to have the Ryan construction project completed by the end of this year.
Up next, how the CTA goes green this Earth Day and every day.
That's enough. All right. I've got enough. Come on! Oh, you gotta be kidding me! What the heck? Man!
Getting from here to there quickly, easily, and without breaking the bank. I'm Jean Sparrow. Welcome to Connections.
It's Happy Earth Day to you this month. April 22nd is Earth Day. It's a day to reflect on what we, as the caretakers of this planet, can do to keep it healthy. Taking public transportation is one easy and affordable way to make a difference.
Chicago's incomparable skyline, set against a clear blue sky. It takes a coordinated and concerted effort to keep our skies clear and our air clean. The CTA and its customers are important players in the environmental effort.
If you can take transit, bicycle, walk, and so forth, clearly that has the biggest air quality bang of all, and we encourage people to obviously take transit as much as they possibly can.
It's no surprise. Vehicle emissions are a major source of pollution in the region. To reduce air pollution, you have to reduce emissions. One of the most significant ways to reduce emissions is to reduce the number of vehicles on the road. The CTA does just that as the second largest transit agency in the country.
We provide about 500,000
rides on our rail system on a normal weekday. So as you can see, that really helps the environment.
Another way to look at it, each 8-car CTA train is the equivalent of 1,000 cars on the road.
Transit by itself is inherently friendly to the environment, much more so than automobiles. Of course, our trains are all electric powered, so those are non-polluting, and our buses are moving toward that with the hybrid electric.
This is the new Flyer hybrid bus. It is one of 20 hybrid buses being tested on Chicago streets. It's powered by both a diesel engine and an electric motor.
There are two different designs for hybrid buses, and we will test them under the extreme conditions here in Chicago, both in the summertime and in the wintertime. One of the very positive things about hybrid buses are that they potentially can eliminate about 90% of the emissions compared to other diesel buses.
In 2003, the CTA took a lead role in the switch to ultra-low sulfur diesel fuel.
We were the first in the region, in fact created the market in the Midwest for ultra-low sulfur diesel fuel, which is a major contributor to air quality improvements. So we're proud of that.
So for the last several years, the region has benefited from the fact that this fuel, which is used in all of our buses, eliminates a lot of the particulate emissions and provides a much cleaner environment.
Already, computer technology controls bus emissions. In 2005, it was noted annual emissions from the CTA fleet were reduced 22% from 1997, although the size of the fleet has grown.
And that amounts to about 564 tons of emissions in the air, so that definitely helps to make the environment a lot cleaner.
The CTA also makes good use of recycled plastic. See this water bottle? Well, the next time you see it, it may be in the form of a railroad tie.
CTA actually makes use of recycled plastic bottles and jugs and so forth. They become part of our railroad ties that we use, that we replace old wooden ties. It's actually quite advantageous for us to use recycled plastic ties because they last about twice as long as regular wooden ties.
So by using the CTA, our customers not only save time and money, they also save the environment. And that may be the best reason of all to take the CTA. The CTA is also using hybrid technology in its non-revenue fleet. 4 Ford Escape hybrid vehicles are being used by CTA field personnel. Connections is now available on demand 24 hours a day. You can now subscribe to the Connections video podcast and automatically receive each month's program absolutely free. There are several ways to find us. Go to www.transitchicago.com and click on Connections. You can also go directly to the iTunes Music Store and search the words CTA Connections. You can either choose a specific episode for instant viewing, or you can subscribe once and automatically download new shows each month. Like all video podcasts, Connections can be viewed directly on your computer or laptop, or can be viewed on a portable device such as the video iPod. Traveling in and around Chicago on the CTA saves you time and money. I'm Jean Sparrow. Welcome to Connections. We're always looking for story suggestions here at CTA Connections. Do you have a travel secret you'd like to share? How about a hidden Chicago gem that's served by the CTA? And just how much time and money are you saving by taking the CTA? Give us a call at the Connections hotline, 312-681-2812. Helping you make your connections. I'm Jean Sparrow. Thanks for watching.